Hello, Craftin buddies. I guess that was a wave. I'm playing with cables and stuff. It's Lori. Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin. I'm early. It is Saturday, July 25th at 11:58 p.m. and I'm live. Let me just check. I maybe shouldn't jump the gun here. Maybe I don't have audio. I have audio. What do you know? But we're not in focus. There we go. Woohoo! Now, since I'm early, Rosemary, Roz, you're here. I am early. Way! Mark it on your calendar. I'm here before midnight. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I made it before midnight, huh? Try to get things straightened out just a little bit. Yes, impressive, right? Ha ha ha. Well, I was working on the, hello, Vicki, welcome. I had been working on the fun fold from yesterday, and I was listening to Juju, to her live. Usually I watch her replay, but I thought, you know, I don't have to do a whole lot of hard concentration, so I thought I'll listen to her. I'll work on the fun fold, you know, we'll do whatever. And she got done early, so I thought, okay, she said I'd be on in like 19 minutes or so, but I'm like, I'm about ready. So I figured I would surprise everybody and come on a couple minutes early. Hello, Monica. Welcome back. We're getting there. I made it before midnight my time. So I'm in Wisconsin, for those of you who are not familiar with where I'm at. Juju, I was on early by like 2 minutes. I may have to watch you live more often, because then I know when you're done, and I can get going if I'm ready. How is everybody? There. How was everybody's Saturday? I had a good day. All right. You know the drill. Stampin' Up stuff. If you want to look at my website, latenightlory.stampinup.net. If you're in the US, don't have a demonstrator. If you're not a demonstrator, I'd love to help you with your crafting needs. Hello, Yuda. Welcome, welcome. Don't forget about our Happy Mail Club. Go over to my Facebook page. This is the same here. And you can see there's a couple of pinned announcements for that. There's stuff on there about, if you go to my website, you can see stuff about Paper Pumpkin, about joining. We finished Fun Fold Friday. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got our sketch challenge. Some of you who normally participate have not been participating this week. Here's our sketch. There's 3 on there. I don't remember exactly, but every Sunday we do a new sketch. We take them from the sketches Stampin' Up! Has provided. If you go to the May to August catalog, on page 13 down at the bottom, there's a QR code, takes you to the Ways to Craft page. In the narrative, there's a link that takes you to this. This is way too small for me. Excuse me, so I make them bigger. And then we work on this. We'll work out a sample, and then I will challenge you on the Facebook page by posting this. And then hopefully you use this as inspiration, make your own card, put a picture of it on the Facebook page so that we can all see the creativity. And then after a month ends, like August 1st or August 2nd, whatever the Sunday is following the end of the month, everybody who participated throughout the month will go on my Wheel of Names for a chance to be the spinner winner of the month. All right. We've had 2 so far because we've done May and June for our sketch challenge. We started this on May 3rd. So participate. It'll be fun, they said. And I think that's all the announcements I have. Does anybody have any other things that you want me to talk about quickly? Rosemary, yeah, you had a fun day with your buddies and your other demonstrators. Is that the same thing that you were sharing with me yesterday? Did you share pictures with me yesterday? I seem to lose track of time. I don't know why that is. And I think I'm going to move this over this way. Will that work? Yes, I was able to craft with some of my buddies today too. A couple of my memory keeping folks came over for a scrappy Saturday. I'm going to show you what we worked on. We worked on this now retired Snow Days scrapbooking workshop. So these scrapbooking workshops from Stampin' Up! Are really cool because they have all the papers that you need. They don't have adhesives and snips and if you want extra embellishments and that sort of thing. You don't get the inks. You get all of the papers and you get the cutting instructions. This is the old layout of cutting instructions where they showed you what papers to cut and where. With the new kits coming out as of this month, all of those papers have the cutting instructions on the back side. So it's should be a little bit clearer for cutting things. But anyway, this is the kit we did today. We were supposed to do this back in January, but I ended up having to go to Arizona for that funeral, and then other things happened and we never rescheduled it. So I finally put Scrappy Saturday back on the calendar. We did a Scrappy Saturday in May, and then the gals that came to that thought we could do Christmas in July. So we had Christmas decorations. I had my little Charlie Brown tree. I had a little lighted tree. We had some candy canes out, little snowman guys, all the things for Christmas. I had a t-shirt on that said, "Dear Santa, define good." So, okay, so Rosemary, you were with your demonstrators group. Okay. I saw pictures today, Roz, that you posted. I don't know if you posted them today. I saw them today of you with your new crafting space. If you are down to one laundry basket of odds and ends, you're doing awesome. Oh, you've had a fun day, hopefully, with family then. That's cool. Very good. Hello, Suzanne. Yes, Late Night Lovelies. Alrighty, so here is my version of the layouts. So these kits usually come with 3 2-page layouts, so it's 6 pages. So I, of course, change a few things, here and there. This should actually be straight. I put some mats, so you can see that sample. I put mats behind my pictures, and I also did, you might not be able to see it very good, some ink blending and some stamping on the bottom. I had a stamp set that I pulled out from my stash and just put some snowflakes on there. So this page then is pretty similar, but again, I did the ink blending and snowflakes down on the bottom. And then for the second layout, we made this. Hopefully that shows up pretty good. And that's pretty close to the design as well. This is a little bit smaller picture. That Stampin' Up! Did a little bit more spotty I don't know if you want to call it spot, directed ink blending. I did it a little more spread out, and then I did some splatter on here, and I used re-inker with water painter, with the fine tip water painter. I picked up picked up some of that ink from my block. I just drop it on a glass block, on an acrylic block, and then I just splattered it on my paper and let it dry. So there's some of that around here. I did some ink blending, just more of a across the page sort of thing, and then down at the bottom of the page too. That might not show up very much. But my layout's similar. I mean, I put the bigger picture on this side because I want your eye to look across the page, and to me, it seems like the bigger picture looked better there. And then I have them offset a little bit more. I have this one down a little bit lower. And then for this page, this will be a journaling piece, and this will be the picture. And then again, I put mats behind mine. Their mats are white, but I thought with the white 12 by 12, the pictures might get lost, especially depending on the colors in my pictures that I put on here. I have a few pictures in mind. So they're similar, but my own twist on them. All right. And then the last 2-page spread is this one. And I tried to make sure that my design flowed from one page to the next. And I extended some of my papers here and angle cut them. There's an awful lot of just green dead space, which to me looks like I need more pictures or something. So I just moved this picture more to the middle, but not exactly in the middle. And that was intentional, okay? And then this just looks like a more continuous strip with my kind of the flagged end being a little further over to the left, and that breaks up some of that green. And then this side, again, I did mats behind the layers just to make them pop a little bit more. And I rearranged my photos. Instead of having them all landscaped, I did these two portrait. So there's a lot you can do with these kits. And I see this one looks a little crooked. I wonder how I happened to do that. I'll have to fix, oh, there we go. I'll have to fix that. There we go. Pretty fixed. There. All right. So that was my, a good part of my day. We set aside several hours for this today. Oh, and I put some embellishments on here too. I don't know if you can see those flat, they're not sequins, they're flat dots that I had in my stash. But I had all kinds of Christmas stamps out for folks to use. I still have, I had room for 2 more people in this class. And there's a lot of extra pieces too when you get these kits. So there's plenty left over that you can do other projects with or more layouts. So I still had room for 2 more people. If anybody is interested in this now retired kit, shoot me an email, laurimacari@gmail.com, and just let me know that you're interested in the Snow Days scrapbooking kit, and I'll let you know the price and we'll figure out shipping. Alrighty, so thank you so much, Yuda and Roz. Thank you. So last night we did our Fun Fold Friday, and the request was for a not a gatefold, a double Dutch, no, a Dutch door fold, that was it. So this was the Dutch door that we did. It was not intended to be a Halloween card. It was actually going to be Lily of the Valley card. I forgot I was missing one of my lights on. It was going to be Lily of the Valley, but then when we started putting some of the colors down, the Granny Apple Green, the Blackberry Bliss, one of you lovely ladies suggested the Halloween paper for the Frankenstein, so it turned into a Halloween card. Super fun. So if you missed this and want to see how we did it, this is a super easy version of that Dutch door fold. And watch the last online class or video for this one. It would be the 24th, okay? And then, because I had not done the Dutch door folds knowing that it was a Dutch door fold, I've done cards like this or similar to this before, but I didn't know that they were called Dutch door. So then I went to a more complicated Dutch door, and this was called, there were a couple of demonstrators that I was searching through things, and they called this a double Dutch. So you've got, I don't really think it's a double Dutch, but you've got the flap that opens and then it reveals the Dutch doors. I ended up kind of finishing this last night because I didn't get any suggestions, but that white just seemed too white. So I took a blending brush with my Memento Black and I added some black around here and I stamped that spider web from the Oh My Fright set. Okay. Now we also talked about this being a peekaboo card or a peekaboo Dutch fold. That only works if we've got the face on and do this, but those doors don't really stay closed very well. But I did end up adding this boo on here because it just looked too blank without it. So what I said last night was I wasn't as happy with the size of this card. I love the card. I love how it turned out. All of you had really fun suggestions for how to decorate and what we should do with it. And if you look at the video last night, if you weren't there, I was kind of like a little kid with my excitement. It was fun putting this together. But I said that I would take this one and do this double Dutch fold, double Dutch fun fold, and I would create it so that it was 5.5 by 4.25, because this is not. This is only 4 inches wide and 4.75 inches high. So it's a 1/4 inch smaller on this side. It's not as wide, and it's 3/4 of an inch shorter. Now it'll fit in an envelope. You can mail it for the same postage, but it just looked a little squatty, and maybe for a pumpkin it was fine. And there was another method for doing the Dutch door, the double Dutch. There was another method for that where she had simply cut a 4.25 by 7 1/8. So yeah, 4.25 by 7 1/8. And then she did a separate piece for this rectangle here, and then she glued it to the back. So then you would have a seam on the back. And I didn't really care for that one, so I didn't even demonstrate it, although I did mention it last night. So tonight, we're going to do this, but it's going to be in like a full regular size card. All right. So we have 2 other guys to work with. We've got the little skeleton guy, and we've got Dracula. We may or may not get to decorating. We may just do the cutting and make sure everybody understands it. Now, when I started designing, I get myself some little grid paper and I just start counting off and making hash marks and stuff. This gave me a start, and then I'm looking at this thinking, this is not going to work. So then I just went to a full-size piece of cardstock, okay? And I'm going to, should we do black or should we do pumpkin pie? Black or pumpkin pie? The pumpkin pie might be easier to see what I'm doing, and I'll show my template as well so you can make some notes. Any suggestions? Black or pumpkin pie? All right. Silence from my Late Night Lovelies means my pick, we're going to go with pumpkin pie. Just because it'll be easier to see. And I did bring over that Granny Apple Green from last night too, but there's no green in these really. All right, so Dracula with a pumpkin pie, because pumpkin pie will work for either of these. So, all right, so the first thing that you're going to do is, awesome, now everybody's on board with pumpkin pie. Nice. So this is our regular 8.5 by 11. All right. How many times have you gotten cardstock and it's slightly bigger than 8.5? And then you try to do a fun fold and the stuff isn't lining up because you discovered that you're a little bit bigger than 8.5. I've had it happen to me, and I'd rather than make the paper bigger than smaller, but if you're not thinking about it, and I usually don't unless I'm doing a fun fold, it can throw you off. So I want you to take your paper and you're going to turn it to the 11.5 or the 11-inch length. Okay. We are going to score this at 2 1/8. 2 1/8. So 2 little hash marks past the 2-inch, right? And you're going to score. Hey, Tanya, welcome. And then we're going to open up the arm here. And we're going to go over to 6 3/8. So the 3/8 is hard to see because where the arm comes out, they just have the little, it's imprinted in there, but you don't have the label. So we've got 6 1/4, 6 2/4, and this would be, let me think, 1, 2, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8 goes to here, and then 4/8 is right here. So we're going to go to 6 3/8. So that means I need to go here. So there's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Okay. Right to that edge of that brown. At least that's where it sits on mine. And we're going to score that 6 3/8. And then for this card, we would go to 8.5 and trim it off. Okay. You can save this to do whatever you want. That's a nice little piece. So now we're going to rotate our card and we're going to score it at 2 3/4. And then we're going to go and slide it to 8.5, or 8 1/4, I mean. And we're going to trim off this 1/4-ish inch. Sometimes it might be longer, sometimes it might be shorter. So rather than doing the 8.5-inch side, we're ending up with the same thing, but this way we're assuring that our width is right, okay? And our length is right. I think I did that how I wanted it. All right, so now we had it like this. If we flip it over, we can do all these folds, and our gate fold should be pretty accurate, okay? Let me get this out of the way for right now. And I'm gonna get my bone folder, and we're just gonna, where these are a little bit off, so it's not perfect, but it's pretty good, okay? All right. Mine still overlap just a smidge. I was trying to be so careful too. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to push this up against the other layer or the other edge and just work it out. Okay. So this is going to be the top of our fun fold, right? So here, we're going to have another piece that we're going to put on the top, but that's going to be here. All right. So what I want you to do is when you've got this folded down, I want you to take a pencil and we're going to put a line right here from the edge just to the fold, the score line. So from the edge just to the score line. All right. And we're going to cut this out. 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 So what this does is on the cards yesterday, like on this one, this Double Dutch, there's a score line that went all the way across so you could figure out where you had to cut. I didn't want that score line on here. So this eliminates a score line and it makes it our 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. All right, so this section here is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, so now what we can do is we can take our trimmer and on the inside of that score line, so the middle part, I want to cut off the score line just down to this line. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at this line and I'm going to go up and cut that off. All right, so you can see where that's cut. And then we'll bring this here and just from this score line up. This, if you didn't write on it, you could use it for something else. And then here, now all I have to do is come down here and trim just to the inside part or the top part of that score line there. And then from here, we're going to go up and cut that score line off. All right. So here is our little gatefold. All right. So that's basically this one because this piece here, this was added. This boo piece was added. So here's our card base. All right. So we're just a little bit bigger. You can see that. Okay. This is equal. This is equal. So that's kind of where it's the double Dutch door. Okay. Let me just get rid of some of my edges. I may have gotten my trimmers still messed up. I thought I had my good one over here again. All right. So we all good with that? Pretty cool, right? Now, if your Dutch doors overlap, it's not a super big deal. Because they're going to open them anyway, and it's not going to stay Dutch doried, right? Okay, so now we need another piece for here. So let's go ahead and let's do the black. So we can do like normal card layer here. This one we had to kind of measure and figure it out because it was smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and do probably 4 by 5 1/4 in the black. And I'm just going to cut this at 5 1/2 because that means the other half is going to be a card base size if I need it to be. And then here I'm going to do the 4 inches. We'll leave this a full size. That's extra. I know it seems like a lot of extra cuts, but now this is 4 by 5 1/4. So that's going to work here. Okay. And then we can do our little Dracula. And we would not have to make this the full size of the front of the card, but I think because his face is so big, we want to maximize it, right? So if this is 4, we need 3 3/4. So I'm going to say, let's take an inch off of each side. We'll just do, hi Allie, we'll do a little bit at a time here. And then I think I probably need to do like an 1/8 inch off of each side now to get it in. So if you did 1 1/8 inch off of each side, that would work. I just wasn't sure my math was going to be good. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. So now we can decide, do we want his crazy chin or do we want his hair? I think we want his hair. Would you agree? And I think what I'm going to do here is just, I'm going to take a pencil and I'm just going to go like this. I really need to just kind of go near the bottom of his chin there. We could take a little bit off of the hair so we get a little bit more of his chin. Let's do that. Let's do about 1/4 inch off of his hair. So he's still got some hair. And then we'll erase this one. So if this is 5 1/4, I need this to be 5 1/8. I think. I think that'll do us. And I could actually go a 1/16 off of there because it looks a little long. All right. Sometimes you just have to throw the measurements aside and do what works. All right. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And then I'll show you my template at the end because I'm thinking I'll show another version of this if you're interested. Shift that up a little bit. There we go. I'll show you the template. Once I show you that second version. So now last night we went ahead and we made corners rounded. I don't think we need to with this one. This one, it looked good just because I think it kind of made the pumpkin look a little rounder. But I'm going to go ahead and just leave these straight. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. Let me get the trimmer out of the way here. Now remember last night, to figure out where I needed the glue, I put a Post-it note or a sticky note at this layer where I can see where the gatefold ends. And then we can put glue just on this section, not the section that's got the sticky notes. Nice thin layer. If you put it on too thick, you're going to say you don't like green glue because it's messy. It doesn't have to be messy. And then when we put this on, right like so, we can see we got no glue. Okay? Pretty good. So now these little mutton chops can come off of there. All right, he looks fun already. So now let's look at our inside layers. And we did Halloween and a spider web on this one last night. We can do another layer here. I guess I could have cut this down. So we'll do 4 by 5 1/4. We'll glue that down. So really, once you've got your layout down, you could actually make quite a few of these in a pretty quick amount of time. And then we'll do another white layer. All right, and that'll be, if we did that at 4, this should be 3 3/4 by 5. All right, so 3 3/4 by 5, 4 by 5 1/4. Normal card size for US stuff. Now, let's see how we want to do the rest of this. Do we want the black and the stripes in here like we did yesterday? Do it pretty much the same, you think? Let's see. I still have more Halloween. These do not have adhesive on them though. The one I pulled out last night had adhesive sheet on the back. So we could do Halloween there, or we could do Halloween here, or we could do both. That might be a little overkill. All right, so we can do the Halloween there. We can do a little ink blending on here again for this layer. And it can be kind of like Dracula. Oops, I got little Mars in there. That's all right. Maybe I'll put some bats or something in here. Because Dracula is a bat, right? That'll be a good cover. I obviously had some ink on my fingers. So getting it to go from that little short squatty double Dutch door to a more full-size Dutch door really wasn't that tough. All right. Luckily. All right, so we're going to do the Halloween on the pumpkin, like so. That's kind of the one I liked best too. Now, part of my score line showed up here, so I'm just going to trim that off. And if I'd have noticed that, it would have been easier to trim before I put that layer on the front, but it was fine. All right, so let's wipe off our black ink. And do a little gluing. Thanks for hanging out with us a little bit, Yuda. Get some sleep and we'll catch you next time. All right, I got a glue booger stuck. There we go. I hate it when that happens. There we go. Now letters like this, it's probably even more important to go light on the ink, on the glue, I mean. because it will definitely ooze out. So remember, we've done this before. I'm going to let the glue cure a little bit, so it almost becomes like a repositionable sticker. Because then when I put it on, the glue won't ooze where I may have put too much. I don't remember what I had cut these out for and why I forgot to use adhesive sheets. So it's not the end of the world, but adhesive sheets would have been much easier to work with. We have been done by now. All right, so that's that. I'm just going to set that off to the side. All right, this needs some bats, I think. Let's see what we've got here. I'm like, where are the stamp sets? They're right there. We have these bats or this bat. I think we're going to use this one because there's a couple little smudges there that I think that'll work really good with. So it'll cover those up pretty nicely, or it'll make it look like whatever's left belongs there. And since I've got Memento Black out, let's use it. That's what I wanted anyway. Okay. Now I could probably stamp off. Let's see how that looks. Hopefully I didn't ruin it. Because it's light enough, it'll still give you the ability to write on there. Oh, you can't hardly see those. Let's try that again. Let's just stamp off. And let's try to line that up and see where we go. That'll work. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue this in here. We can still write in there, so that'll be fine. I probably didn't need the extra bats on the inside, but I wanted to see what it looked like. You don't know if you don't try. So we're just going to go with it. All right, this is pretty well transparent. Okay, so that's pretty well set. Let's go ahead and lay this down. We'll go a little canted. So we can do a little alley-ooping. But now I don't have glue oozing out anywhere because it's all set. And then any glue that got on my silicone mat, I just make sure once it's dry, then I just try to peel it off. And then I don't know if you've ever watched, but I put a hole in the corner of my silicone mat because then I can hang it on a command hook that's on my shelf. All right, so here's what we've got so far. Okay. Double gatefold. So now we need to decorate these. Let me just wash this stamp quick. I'll keep things kind of clean. And that way I don't lose stuff. And then we need our happy. We're going to mask that off again. I could also cut my stamp. Oh, I suppose I should put that on the block, huh? I could cut my stamp, but because of the way the script is, I don't know that that would be super effective. Beautiful. Now the tops of a couple of these letters I didn't wipe off. So there's a couple little ink marks there. But quite honestly, I don't know that anybody who's getting this would notice. Especially if I give it to a kid, they're not going to know. My problem is making sure I don't lose these before Halloween, right? And we will put these extras back in the little bag here. To save for another time. Who else does their glue like that and lets it cure to use it? Anybody? All right, let's see. Now, if I'm going to do very many of these, I'm going to need more paper. There's 48 sheets in a pack, and you get 4 designs. So that's 12 of each of the designs. I'm going to use these stripes today. Oh, I have several of these that I put tear and tape already to make those sour cream holders. And I want to keep those intact. There we go. Well, you should try it, Rosemary, if you use the multi-purpose liquid glue, because it does work really well. All right, so we're going to go like so, and we're going to cut 4 black mats. And I forgot, our mats need to be 1 7/8, right? So let's do 1 7/8 first, so I don't have to think about too many measurements. And I'm actually going to cut that white strip off of there. So that I have black on the edges. All right, so 1 7/8. And then we need it to be 2.5. A smidge over 2.5. So when I say a smidge over 2.5, I'm just going to go 1 more 1/16. 2.5 and 1 more smidge. Now I have this paper doubled, so I'm cutting 2 at a time. Oh, and that should have been the black. So I guess we get to do that again. And then I'll just have to cut these down a little bit. All right, let's try that again. So 1 7/8. 1 7/8. How come nobody told me that should have been black? And 2.5 plus a smidge. So that's 2 9/16. Who wants to do 16ths, right? All right, we're going to go ahead and glue these on. You ladies are all very quiet tonight. Concentrating on the design, right? The Tombow liquid glue really is my go-to adhesive. It's the one I like the best because it gives me wiggle room. Rosemary, you're tired? Weekends are hard, right? I know it's almost 2 in the morning for Roz, if Roz is still awake with us. Okay, and then these pieces then I need to trim down. I think an 1/8 of an inch, right? So if I go an 1/8, now let's do a 16th off of each side. Or an 1/8, we'll see. A little bit more. So like an 1/8 off of the top and the bottom, or the top and the side, I think should work. Good night, Rosemary. Thanks for hanging out with us. You kind of get the idea what this is going to end up like. All right. And we'll take. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you next time. Well, that piece doesn't want to come out of my track here. There we go. Oh, thanks, Suzanne. I just noticed your comment there. All right, so I cut that, but I didn't cut the side. I lose track of where I was. Okay. All right, so now we've done a couple of double Dutch. Do you like the regular size one, or do you like the squatty one better? I mean, the pumpkin is cute as the squattier one. But the size, oh, I did not trim this one. How did that happen? I thought I trimmed these. Oh, you bet, Suzanne. It took a little bit. You know, sometimes I overcomplicate things and it's like, it's not that hard. So when I just started cutting the paper and figuring out what I wanted to do, it worked out pretty good. All right, so this one I still need to trim. No, that one got trimmed down. How did that one not get trimmed? It must have gotten left behind. I'll just try to trim it straight by hand. A little bit more. There we go. Unfortunately, with my measurements, some of these would go to the 16th measurements on your trimmer or ruler, which some people don't like dealing with. And I get that. But I think if you just remembered like the 1/8 inches or the 1/2 inches and then just scoot up or down one line, it doesn't seem as hard. Okay. So, happy Halloween. Should we put any kind of web up on that one like we have on this one? It's Dracula. I should probably put some other bats. Let's see what the dies look like here. Is there a bat die? There are bat dies. We're gonna go, I think we'll go with the bigger one. I'll cut out a couple of those. Now, I happened across some old paper I had. This holographic paper. I think I'm going to use some for my stash. What do you think of some iridescent holographic bats? Would that be too crazy? We'll see what it looks like. We might not like it. Because then I'm thinking, are we supposed to, probably supposed to stamp on there. So I think what we'll try to do is maybe emboss with black on the holographic. I don't know if that'll work. I don't know if it'll work. Let's try the hybrid ink and see what that gives us. Ooh, I think it slid. Yeah, it did. So that won't work. We could just do a bat shape and see what happens. I'll cut out a bat shape and we'll see what that looks like. I felt it slide as soon as I put it back or put it down. What if you cut it out in black and use the white gel pen? Oh, I could. Let's try it on a scrap. What if we just did this? Oh, of course, then I still have to cut it out, don't I? No, I was thinking if we just drew it on here instead of having a cutout. See, sometimes I just mess myself up. That doesn't even look like a bat to me. All right, let's go back to the comments here. All right, holographic paper was a fail. The bat on black was a fail. We could do this threesome of bats. And they've got some little, whoops. They've got some holes in here for their eyes. So we might be able to put the holographic paper or something bright behind it. So let's see how that looks. And maybe just having the black bats on the black here would work. I don't know, we'll see. Or I could use some blending brush and brush on white and then put the black bats on top. We'll see. We'll cut this out twice. Oops. So there's our first three little guys. And let's just cut a few more. So yesterday I feel like I was a lot more excited, a little more animated, because that card was just, they were turning out so cute. And this one's just like, well, it's the same card, we're just doing a different style. Okay. Just have one, there we go. One little bat didn't want to let go of his eyeball. All right. Now let's take a look and see. You know what we could do too? We could have cut a moon. We could have done some masking. There's so much you could do with this. The set really does have a lot of stuff. Oh, you're glad for the different size? Good. I'm glad. And don't let me forget to show my template either, because I kind of wrote down all the instructions. But if I hurry up, I can show you that other card layout that I was going to try, or that I kind of mocked up. So let's... Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Can you see the iridescent behind the eyes? Let's see if we can get this to work. These scissors are really too big. So I need just a small circle. Is this empty? Let's empty this first. Those would be good elements for a shaker card, huh? All right. I feel like I'm missing one. There should be 6. There it is. All right. So those will just fit behind our bats. We'll put those on here. I think the black on black will be fine. I don't know if you can see the color behind those bats' eyes, but you can see the little dots, how they're picking up the light. Just imagine that going out of the bat eyes in person. It looks pretty cute. So I think that'll work. You get the idea. Maybe. And I will probably use just like some tear and tape to get those eyes to stick. All right, so I don't know that you can see it. You can see their eyes. It's kind of fun. All right, so I'm going to set this off to the side. I'll finish it, and I'll put some little sentiment on the front. And we'll consider this one kind of done. Now, let's do another variety of this double Dutch gatefold. We're going to do a double Dutch. I know the eyes do really glow, don't they? We're going to do a double Dutch easel card. What do you think? I've never seen it done before, but when I was doing my template, I'm like, well, wait a minute, I wonder what this would do. So I'm going to do this in, let's just do Granny Apple Green. Let me get my trimmer out here. And we're not going to decorate this. I'm just going to show you, I think, the, maybe we'll decorate it. I don't know. I think I have some of these things in the wrong containers. Let me just do a quick reset. Yeah, I was kind of looking on my camera and those eyes did look pretty good. All right. And we need the bat back here. Let's wash this off. I think some youngster will think that card is pretty cool. Oh, got a jumper. Oh, there's some stars and speckles on there too. We could have done something with that. Oh. I put these all in the wrong containers. It doesn't matter. We'll just move stuff around. I had too many open all at once. I had all 4 open and spread out. And all right, reset. And funny, I'm drinking Liquid Death Cherry Obituary. Have you ever seen this? It's sparkling water that's flavored. Our niece had this. This is a skeleton head. I've never seen it before. Murder Your Thirst. We donate a portion of the profits from every can sold to help kill plastic pollution. This ruthless can of flavored sparkling water has a twisted plan to use natural agave and exploding bubbles to murder your thirst and recycle your soul. So it's just water with natural flavor, I guess. No caffeine, no nothing. So, yeah, that's what I'm drinking. So you appreciate the Halloween stuff to break up all the Christmas in July? I know. I know. All right, let me get my black inks out of the way. And that blending brush, my ruler. All right, so let's do this again. We are going to take our 8.5 by 11. We're going to turn it on the 11-inch side. And the first thing we're going to do is score at 2 1/8. And then we're going to go to 6 3/8. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. All right, and then normally I would say let's go to 8.5. And the last time we cut that piece off, remember? Where did I put that piece? I might have used it. But this time we're going to score it. All right, so instead of trimming it off, we're just going to score it. All right, so 2 1/8, 6 3/8, 8.5. Okay. Now we're going to rotate it, and we're going to come over here and we're going to score at 2 3/4. And then we're going to go over to 8 1/4, and we're going to cut off that 1/4 inch. Okay, so this is like the same as it was before. Okay, now if we flip this, we can see all of our score lines, right? Did I do this right? I didn't. Did I do it wrong? I did it wrong. Let me think this through. Those are my gate folds. How come it worked on my other sample? I bet I did this one. No. Oh, I scored the wrong sides. Give me a second to breathe. I'm looking at my template. It worked so good the first time. That's what I did. I did my template. I fixed my template to do the other way. All right, that's all right. This is still gonna work. All right, so we're gonna go and we're gonna use this. No adhesive. So take a screenshot of this. This will work. So we've got 11 inches by 8.5. I think this worked. Yeah, this will still work. All right, so we're going to score at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. 2 1/8. So our scoring stuff is totally different this time. 2 1/8, 6 3/8. It'll work. All right, and then we're going to go this way and score at, I should have written this down on my first template. We're going to score at 2 3/4 and 5.5. 2 3/4, 5.5. At least I kept my template. Okay. And then we're going to cut some of these away. So we're gonna go ahead and this is gonna get cut away. This is gonna get cut away. And then what I wanna do is go like this. So I just kind of created a Z here. I'm gonna take my pencil and I'm just gonna draw a line here and a line here, because I don't want to make a score line here because I don't like that score line. All right. So basically what we're doing is we're going to do this. All right. So I want all three of these sections cut out. This one's going to go, this one's going to go, this one, this one, this one, this one, all going to go. So let's go ahead and trim those score lines out of here. And then those lines that we drew, so this is up 2 3/4 inches, because we've got 5 1/2 here. So half of 5 1/2 is at 2 3/4. We're gonna go ahead and cut that out. And then cut that out. All right, so here we've got our Dutch door. And now we've got our easel. So if we don't cut off that top flap to just have this, we keep that flap on, we can turn this into an easel card. See how simple that was? So it'll lay flat just like the other one did. So if we get, let's get the Frankenstein guy. You can tell I was cutting too fast. I've got some frayed ends here. Now I could just do the template for the other one this same way, and we just cut that off, and that would be easy. But I also wanted to be aware that sometimes our paper is a little wider than that 8 1/2. And sometimes it's been substantially so. Okay. All right, so let's get our little Frankenstein stuff here. So we've got 4 1/4. So if we take an inch off of each side, we'll have our 4-inch layer. Oh, except we need a base for this. We could probably just put it on black or green, and we just won't have it show on the other side. In fact, that'll be good because that'll cover up the orange. All right, so we need this to be 5 1/4. So we'll take a little bit off of his hair. Hello, are you new? I don't recognize your handle. Is that supposed to be like mischief? Are you a mischief maker? I think I would have remembered that. Welcome. All right, so if we do 4 by 5 1/4, we've got that. We're not going to attach it to that top part, remember. But let me get a piece of Granny Apple Green, and we're going to do that 4 1/4 by 4 by 5 1/4. Well, it's already at 5 1/4. And we're just going to glue those together. He doesn't really need a border. I think he looks good. So let's glue those together. Is it Michelle? Or should I just call you Mischief? Well, I'm glad you've been a subscriber. I appreciate that. Your first live, though. Awesome. Welcome. So we'll just do a little alley-oop there and make sure that glue's all right. And then I'm going to close this up because I don't think we need that wide open right now. We are going to just put adhesive on the bottom half here. So I'm going to put this sticky note to where that fold is. And that way we'll just put adhesive down on the bottom half. Got a little glue on my sticky note there. Guess I won't reuse that one anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and put this right on our card base. Now, when I turn this over, I should not see any glue, and I don't. I did get glue on my fingers, though. All right, so look at that. Now, this reminds me, with this card that we did from last night, we can set this one up and that gatefold holds that pumpkin face out. Isn't that cute? I realized that. And that's when I kind of thought, oh wait, we could do an easel card. So here's how that looks from the side, basically. Like manually cutting wood, Tanya? That's a lot of work. All right, so let's see about how we want to decorate this. What would be fun is I have in my stash some purple. I don't know if it's Gorgeous Grape, but some glimmer or glitter paper. It would be fun to put some stripes on here. But I don't have that handy, so let's make do with what we've got, right? See what kind of pieces we have here to work with. I might have to get some more of this paper. Are you heading out, Tanya? Maybe we should just put some Gorgeous Grape cardstock. Oh my goodness. That sounds like a lot of work. So are you cutting trees that came down in a storm or just trees that need to come down because they've exceeded their healthy life? We haven't used this stripe yet, have we? So if we did, he's got stripes in his hair. We could put some stripy paper in here. We'll do a black layer here. And I think we did. Oh, trees that were given to you like for the firewood then? If we do 1 7/8 by Oh, of course, you're in winter. 2.5. Okay, so those are the right size. I'm using up a bunch of my little scraps for the black. So 1 7/8 by 2.5. Well, that's nice. You do all the work and then give it away besides. We have a lot of wood also, and when, like, my husband's brother needs wood, he comes and gets some as well. So 1 7/8, if I go down an eighth. Is that right? And then if we add 2.5. We'll take that 8 off of there. I'm just winging it with some of these measurements. Yeah, 100 and more is hot. We've got heat advisory again tomorrow from noon until 9 p.m. So these are 1 5/8, it looks like. By 2 1/4. I should have written those measurements down the last time. Well, it sounds like you've got your hands full, Tanya. All right, so we'll get these pieces put together for the front and back there. We might have a lot of stripiness going on here. Let's go ahead and do the base layer. I'm going to have a lot of paper to clean up. Suzanne, thank you for asking that. I should have done that. Yes, Michelle, where are you from? Burr. So here's the tedious part where we just kind of put this together. I was thinking we wouldn't decorate this one. I just wanted to show you the easel card, but we got that far. Why not just decorate it, right? Oh, you're not kidding. That firewood came in handy. We have a fireplace, but when we did the addition, we had the fireplace installed because the house didn't have one before. And I always said I wanted a house with a fireplace, but we put it in for my parents and their part. But we got one that's natural gas, so it doesn't have the creosote buildup and that from wood and whatnot. So it's crazy when we build fires out in the yard, it's for summer recreation, not for keeping warm. Michelle, have you been on with us the whole episode, or did you just now come in? Not that it matters, but I come on every night about midnight, Wisconsin time. And seldom am I done before an hour, just because we putz around and chit chat. Now we'll put these on here. There might be just an itty bitty smidge of overlap, but I'm going to just let it go. I actually think it's okay. There, maybe we'll use the bone folder and try to push that out just a little bit. And Michelle, what kind of crafts do you do? I'm guessing some kind of paper craft if you're interested in what we're doing here. It's always fun to know if people are, if they're doing junk journals. Some gals on here like to knit, crochet, multimedia, or mixed media rather. Now I have to figure out what we want to put on here. We could probably put some words on here. Let's see what we've got. And we could do Happy Halloween again. Should we just do Happy Halloween there? We can stamp the happy on a little piece of orange maybe. Oh, and on the front, maybe we'll do trick or treat. Trick or treat, we can put that on a little banner piece. I don't think I want to risk trying to stamp it on here because I'll probably mess it up. I think we'll do it on black and do some heat embossing. Does that sound like a plan? We'll just go all out. Thanks, Suzanne. Little Versamark, little embossing buddy to cut down on the static. Our trick or treat. Good night, Tanya. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully you won't be sore later with all of that wood hauling. All right, now I'm just going to let that set a little bit. I made sure that I had the white, not the clear. And then for the inside, we need to stamp happy on a piece of pumpkin pie. In fact, here we go. We got this little piece here. All right, that should be pretty good. I like to let that powder sit on there for just a few seconds, just so it can soak in and or rather adhere to the embossing powder better. So let's heat up baby Hank. Get our little tweezers. And make a little magic. Hopefully you can see how it changes from dull white to bright white when it's all melted. Because that's just like plastic powder, right? All right, I'll just let that cool off for a second. Let's do happy. It wants to stick to my glass mat. And let's try this again, see if I can avoid getting the tops of the letters that we don't want. Last time I did this, I think what I did was by hand, I rubbed off some of the ink that may have gone over, like here. I don't really care so much about these because we're going to cut them off. And then I'll fussy cut that. So I'll have to probably share, maybe I'll just share I'll share both of the templates that I did. And you guys can decide which one you want. Boy, when I saw Juju's fussy cutting earlier, she really gets detailed on her fussy cutting. Me, not so much. I just get it close enough to get by. But she was like in all inside the, like the leaf shapes and everything. I was impressed. I would have to try to get my brother Scan and Cut maybe to do the work for me. All right, I should have put this on my silicone mat and had that glue starting to cure while we were doing this other stuff. I guess we'll do that now. Just as a reminder, do adhesive sheets. Don't do it the slow way like me. It'll be all right. I mean, the outcome is the same. It just, we would have been all done putting this on already if I'd originally cut these out using adhesive sheets. But because these letters are so narrow, I don't want to just glue them on right away because that glue is probably going to ooze over the edges. And if I let it set a little bit, it'll be more like a sticker and we won't have that problem. All right, so let's set that out of the way. Let's go ahead and get this cut. We'll put that on the front. All right, and this will come in here. I could probably glue that on now because the Halloween will fit under it pretty easily. Whoops. That was kind of heavy. That was unintended. A little bit of embossing powder. All right, in Trick or Treat, we'll do some dimensionals. Suzanne, you're good on knowing where everybody's from. I think I'm gonna put it down here so I don't cover too much of his face. I like that. Now this is where I could put like some of that gel pen on here and give him a gleam in his eye, but I don't think I want to do that. I'll probably mess it up. It would be cuter if I had done it maybe on the pumpkin, but I'd want to practice that first. So there's our little easel card. Now, because we did the cardstock on the back of the designer series paper, we don't have a weird look on the back, and it gives it some stability. So now the only thing we need to do is figure out, do we want to put some stuff up there? Halloween is almost translucent. It's getting there. And then, what are we going to do with this so that it stays down? Or we just let it sit up? I hadn't thought that far ahead. I need something heavy enough on this to make those doors stay down. Of course, I don't think I burnished these either. So I don't know if my iPad, looks like my iPad might have lost connection. I thought maybe my whole thing did. My computer's still showing as connected. Interesting. My iPad is stuck. My iPad's doing some funny things right now. So if I don't see comments right away, it's because it's not in front of me. Yeah, my iPad doesn't want to cooperate. All right, I think Halloween is translucent enough for us to put on. See how clear that became? So now it won't ooze out from around the edges here. Can't tell. My iPad's trying to come back up, but there we go. I think it's back. So the nice thing about this, when you let the glue cure a little bit, it almost is like a repositionable sticker too. So I moved that end just a little bit more in. All right, get that out of the way. What should we do with this part? What do you think? Maybe black and orange and just call it a day, just so there's color in there. So I don't want it to be like super crazy busy. That might kind of work. But then I'll have to put like a white piece in here too, so there's some place to write. So white down here, where I just said, your comment just came through. Or were you thinking white up here? Oh yeah, up top, huh? We could do both. So we can do, I still would want it matted though, so I'm going to go ahead with these pieces that I cut. Yeah, that wiggled all on its own. That was too far. He is pretty cute. So let's do some white. Do I still have some white handy here? I do. And then we'll do, oh, this is, that's very vanilla. Let me go get the white. Because those stripes are definitely white. All right, and let's see. So 2 1/4 should work. And then I should have 3 3/4. So white on both of them. Or like that. What do you think? I know I have some of those old spiders. Either way looks good. I think I'm going to do this then, because that'll offset the black that's here. And it'll, to me, it's a little bit more balanced. And I like the white here because it kind of balances out those stripes. So I wonder if I just punched holes in there and put ribbon or twine, maybe twine. Some black baker's twine, and we could tie those shut. It will kind of go with the stitches on his face. Let's do, whoops. Let's do our little hole punch here. See if I can go through all of these layers. No. All right, so this little hole punch won't go through all those layers, but I'm thinking my old Stampin' Up! One might. That should go through all the layers. Maybe. maybe not. Oh, it doesn't want to cut through these. Oh, it's trying. That's quite a few layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. It's not made to go through 5 layers, apparently. All right, let's try a fist first one, see if that'll work. Now that I got it loosened up, right? Nope. That doesn't want to go through either. Holy cow. All right, so let's do, what else can we do? I could just make it all this way. We'll just poke it through. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? There we go. Need to make sure that I'm about the same. So right between those two. Is that on the top? Yes. It's the top. And I'm just going to make a mark with my pencil, I think. It is thick. And I was using all my might. I think that's where I want it. Let's just see. Yeah. All right. Well, you know, resistance is futile. We will win. We will overcome. All right. See? Don't mess with us. We'll figure it out. That's what the Pearson mat's for, after all, right? Okay. Whew. So, I think for ease of opening and closing, we're going to do right. Resistance is futile. I never watched it that much. Well, I take that back. We did watch Star Trek quite a bit when I was a kid. All right. So, what I'm going to do is make a lark's head on each side. Ugh, let go. And all I'm going to do is push this through from the front to the back. So I should probably tell you what I did. I took a piece of twine that's about, it's about 14 inches long, folded it in half. I'm going to push it through to the back. And then with that loop, I'm just going to feed the ends through it and make a little stitchy thing. Now my paper, on both sides it happened. So they're just going to have to ignore that it got on the edge of the paper and kind of ripped it on the inside. Now I could find some kind of embellishment probably to cover that up. All right, so now we'll be able to tie this. In a little bow because it'll work independently on each side. It doesn't go down quite all the way. but I'm thinking if I cut, I don't know if this would punch out a little semicircle here, because that's not going through all the layers. It might work. Let me go get a little punch. A little circle punch. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna just take a little bit off of here and a little bit off of here. I'm just going in the green part. Those are like, you know, trimming your fingernails. We trimmed Frankenstein's fingernails. We got those little half circles there. All right, let's try to tie this again and see if I can get it to go a little bit flatter, because now there's a place for that twine to rest. That might work a little bit better. Oh yeah, that worked better. There's Frankenstein. Whew, that was an effort. That took a little bit of work. But hopefully it was worth it. So now we've got a double gatefold easel card. Oh, that would have been cute. That would have been very cute. And maybe not orange inside, although you do need some pop of color. Purple inside would have been awesome too. The gorgeous grape. But how would I come up with hands? They'd look like the Hulk or something. That's a really cute idea though. But either way, for now, we've got these. Let me get some of these things out of the way. Now, where is, oh, our little Dracula. I still have to take care of the bats. All right, so here's our cards from the last 2 nights. Kind of fun. It's kind of hard to see old Frankenstein here, but you get the idea. So this was our simple gatefold. That was our Dutch door gatefold, or the peekaboo card. This is the Dracula one. I can probably move these off of here because I'll be doing some gluing. So I'll get it so you can see the front. So this is just a double Dutch door. Did I say gatefold or did I say the double Dutch door? So this is, yeah, this is not a gatefold. This is our Dutch door. Double Dutch, right? Double Dutch. Full size, because this is our double Dutch junior, and this is our double Dutch, and then this is our double Dutch easel fold, a Lori original, Late Night Lovelies original, unless somebody's done it and I didn't find it, but I've never seen it before, so there we go. Thanks for all the ideas. Thanks for hanging out with me. And it is just about 2 a.m. for me, so I've been on for 2 hours, ladies. Thanks, Juju. I'm surprised you're still awake. You've been so quiet. Hopefully you've been fussy cutting or whatever it is you're working on. All right. I am going to say goodnight. I'm going to put a little bit of food in my belly, I think, because my stomach is growling again. And I will be back around midnight. And how's that you say it, Juju? If the creek don't rise and the Lord's willing, I'll be back around midnight. Is that how that goes? But these are super fun. So tomorrow or later today, it's Sunday. It's going to be Sketch Challenge Sunday, so get ready for a new sketch. All right? With that, I'm going to say good night. Thanks for joining me. Happy crafting.